Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Quantum Recovery Podcast. I'm your host, Andeea, and today I am going to teach you how to do muscle testing, specifically the sway test. I have been showing this to so many people lately that I was like, I need to do a podcast on this. So it is all connected to some of the things I've already talked about on this podcast. Emotion code is one of them. I love emotion code therapy. I am not an emotion code therapist, but I am a person who gets emotion code therapy. And I just want to share a little bit today the reason why I love it and how it's helped me learn to trust myself more. So the book that this is the emotion code is actually a book as well. And if you're on YouTube, I'm holding it up. It's by Dr. Nelson Bradley. And this book, he does, give direction on how to do muscle testing. So if you want to get the book, you can. I'm not affiliated in any way, just sharing what has helped me so much. And if you go back into the episodes and listen to Amanda Monjour, she talks a lot about emotion code because she is an emotion code therapist. So, or practitioner, I should say. So, with this therapy, basically what we're doing is you go into the subconscious. The subconscious is where we are, like, think of the subconscious as the software that's running the program of your brain, your life. And if you think about it, we have planted some pretty, I'm going to speak for myself here. I'm not going to say we. I planted some pretty negative self-talk into my subconscious. And the only way that that gets really, in my experience anyway, that all gets sussed up, if you will, like known to us, is by sharing with a therapist and, doing traditional therapy, the way that you share stories and the things, your experiences, and as you get to know the therapist more, the relationship can really evolve and it can be very, very beautiful. And the therapist can call you out on your negative thinking and the way that you typically go about situations in your experience, because usually, at least for me, I would check in with my therapist and I would always say what was going on, things that were happening in just the real time, right? And they're really good after a while to call things out. And that is really the golden nuggets of what therapy is. It's, for me, it was really getting an awareness of the irrational thinking that I had, so I knew what to change. And with emotion code, there's no processing old trauma or anything like that, even though there might be trauma attached to some of the irrational beliefs that you might have. So, for basically, I'm not saying do this instead of therapy. Therapy is very valuable, but when you want to get to the bottom of it, emotion code is really good, because emotion code, belief code, and body code, all of them together. And you do have to do emotion code sessions before you kind of graduate to body code and belief code. But those beliefs that aren't serving us really get like right in front of you right away, and you don't have to process anything. It is just energetically letting go of it. So most of us are holding about 1,500 feelings in our body that are trapped emotions, and they're about the size of an orange, like quantumly. Like, that's a pretty big energy to be swirling that's trapped. And many of us have like over 1,500. So it's not like everything's going to get brought into our awareness and we're going to be like become enlightened after a session of emotion code. But one thing I want to share with you is my experience of it, and then I'm going to teach you about the sway test. So my experience has been, I feel very light, and things are slowly but surely definitely changing. Like, my thought processes on things are definitely changing now that I've let go of some of those old beliefs, most of by which also happened when I was like 7, 8 years old. Like, they can tell you when that belief formed. So, and the practitioner is usually going to do this muscle test. And I don't, so I'm, if you're listening, I'm holding up my fingers, and basically both of my hands are in the shape of an OK sign. And then you link your index finger and thumbs, and that is a muscle test option. But I like sway testing because it's kind of like a little mini, I don't want to say trust fall because it's not like a trust fall, but it has allowed me to trust and listen to my body. And I have come to very much trust my sway test. That is the muscle test for me I trust the most. You might resonate with a different muscle test, and you can read about the different ones in the book, but I really love sway testing. And I teach it like all the time. I'm in conversation, teaching it to my clients. I just very, very much love it. And you can use muscle testing for simple little questions, and they all have to be yes or no questions, but your subconscious will be able to answer. That said, the one of the things we want to always be mindful of is we don't want to ask our body, like do a muscle test and ask our body something when we're in fight or flight, because your subconscious is going to want to save you because we that's what its job is to keep you safe. And so if you are in fight or flight, you're going to get an inaccurate answer to your question. So that would be the one thing, because I actually did make that mistake of asking something in fight or flight, and it was not the right decision to be making. So I'm very happy that I actually, I called my emotion code therapist, and she was like, "Did you do that when you were in fight or flight?" And I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "Okay, that don't do that." So I missed that part of the lesson. So I don't want you making that same mistake. But basically, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to show you what to do. So I always, for those people out there who wear high heels, you're going to want to be on just, regular shoes, flat-footed, on a hard surface. So, and arms next to your side. And to like test my sway test, I always do a little, just a little test of the test, basically. And I always say a true statement. And when a true statement, you're going to sway forward. For a false statement, you're going to end up swaying backwards. And if you're at home and you're able to do this with me right now, like if you just stand with your feet about shoulder width distance apart, you will notice that your body doesn't stay still. You're swaying a little bit, moving a little bit. That's normal. And what I'm going to do now is say a true statement. So my name is Andeea, and that is a true statement. That is a yes. And now I'm going to do a false statement. My name is Bob, and that is a false statement. So I am not doing the swaying. I am asking the question, I'm saying the statement, and I'm I'm falling backwards. You can do this with big questions, and you can do it with little things like, if I know that certain foods bother people, you could do it with like a food. You could say, does my body agree with oats? No, my body does not agree with oats. So you see where I'm going with this. Now I'm actually in real time right now. I'm going to ask a very serious question. I'm not going to say the person's name out loud, but I'm going to be thinking it. And I'm going to ask if I'm supposed to be letting go of a relationship. See, we can do it. And right now I'm a very neutral, I'm not in fight or flight. I'm very neutral as far as my feelings. So I'm going to ask myself, and sometimes I close my eyes. You don't have to close your eyes, but sometimes I do close my eyes. And I'm going to ask, is this relationship serving me? No, it isn't serving me. Am I supposed to let go of this friendship? Yes, that makes me sad. Okay, so that is, you can do it for things that are really serious. You can do it for things that aren't so serious. So that is what I wanted to share with you. And I recently so just for a couple of updates. So I hope that you can take that sway test. And if you're listening to this driving or anything, do that as soon as you get home. Because and I also would challenge, do sway testing as you're starting to get used to it. Like ask yourself a little question every single day, just something small. Like, do I want to go for a walk right now, or do I want to lift weights right now? I don't know. You can ask it silly things like if you are getting decision fatigue, let your body make the decision for you. Because when we're in recovery, we always don't trust our body. We have to learn to trust our body again. So I want you to ask yourself simple things. Allow your subconscious to make that Like, let it make some decisions and see if you can't start trusting yourself. See if you can't just do it for some simple little things that you have in everyday life, like like what color shirt should I wear today? Like, you're gonna have to ask it in yes or no. Like, you know, should I wear white? It'll say yes or no. Should I wear pink? Yes or no, and so on and so forth. It will take a little bit. You gotta have patience, but that practice will get you really good at sway testing. So I'm going to share a little bit about in a future episode about my cross addictions. That'll be for next time. And for announcements, I wanted just everybody to know I got a different website. It's going to look a little bit different. And if you're on my email list, yeah, the emails look a little bit different, but it's all the same. And I still have my quantum recovery course. I still have coaching, still have all of that. And I'm also going to be sharing something very exciting with you all very soon. And I'm excited for that. And if you want to go on my website. There is a new section on my website, and you will see it. I will just let you go to it and let you be curious. You can just go to my website and check it out. But there is some big things coming, and I'll be posting about that very soon. And this podcast is still not on a regular cadence. So whenever I can, I post a podcast on quantum recovery. And my main podcast is Quantum Healthy. And Quantum Healthy is co-hosted with Laura Kissman. And we interview experts, scientists, and researchers, all the things in the quantum biology space. So you can start looking at your recovery through the lens of quantum biology. This is the truth of science. This is the science that has been lost, and this science is new, and it has only been around for about 13, 14 years now. And so we really have to understand that many of the professionals out there, not everybody knows about this science. And so we need to educate ourselves, and we need to be asking our doctors and whoever, we need to be challenging them. We need to be asking them, hey, have you heard about blue light being really detrimental to our health? Blue light has a huge role in addiction. It is addictive by design. So if you are in recovery and you are like, and there's a lot of negative things about blue light, like it raises your blood sugar and all the things. So it, not going to go there today, but like you've heard on the podcast and you heard on Quantum Healthy, we talk about this stuff all the time. And so you do, like, I want to challenge you to challenge the professionals that you see. Ask them these questions, ask them about this science. They probably haven't heard of it, and they will probably be curious and will learn about it, because the more people that we can have in this space, learning about this science, and I'm talking about professionals in all realms, like physical therapists, occupational therapists, your chiropractor, your dermatologist, your primary care physician. Like, I'm talking about everyone in the medical field, also naturopathy and also functional medicine, all the things, all of it. We need to challenge our providers. And so, and we do it in a very compassionate and curious way. We don't, you know, say, "Oh, you should know that." Nothing like that, like not in a negative way, but we want to just see, because this is information that is really detrimental to our health. Like, and it is taking our health back into our own hands. And that's what I want to help you do. That's what I help you do on this podcast and the other podcast. And it is my life's mission to help. And everything on this podcast is free. I do not get paid to do this podcast. So the way that you can support this channel is by using the links in my show notes, by using the links on my website. I get paid a very, very, very small amount of money from the purchases that you make through the links. And also, I'm not even an affiliate of all the links on my website. Some of them are just there because I simply want you to know about them, and I researched it and I know that it's a good thing. So I add it, even if I'm not an affiliate. And it'll say if I'm not affiliated on the little description. So if you support this podcast, if you listen to this podcast and you hear something from me that I introduced you to, like blue blocking glasses, or you need to change your light bulbs in your house or anything like that, please do know that I've researched and I've done a lot of hard work to build my website out. And I've done that so you have all the resources at your fingertips. And that is my gift to you. And you actually say thank you every time you use one of those links. And I very, very, very much appreciate it. Basically, all you're doing when you use a link is usually you're getting a discount. You don't always get a discount code, but sometimes, more often than not, you get a discount code for using the link. And then that supports not only you, and it also supports me. So just wanted to do a full explanation of that. And yeah, that's all for today. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. You have no idea how grateful I am for you. And we'll see you next time. Drink water. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found value in this information. And if you did, please share it. Another way to support the podcast is to leave a 5-star review. If you want to connect, you can message me on Instagram or email me at andeearae@outlook.com. And remember, drink water.